I am here in the beautiful Sava River in Belgrade, Serbia to tell you why I bought a passport for 150,000 US dollars. That's right, it's called Citizenship by Investment, and I actually bought it from a country called St. Kitts and Nevis, or St. Christopher and Nevis. There's many countries just like St. Kitts and Nevis, specifically in the Caribbean region of the world, that actually sell their passports and sell the citizenship mainly to people in China, people in Russia that can't really travel to many countries. They can't travel to Europe, they can't travel to places like here in Serbia, for example, a lot of Indian people. They can't come to really any country around the European Union. A good way to get those travel privileges, get that freedom of going wherever you want, is by getting a second passport. And if you don't have an ability to get a second passport from any other way, maybe your parents were not born in a country with a good passport, or your grandparents, or you're not married to anybody with a good passport, the only way is to actually buy it. And that's essentially my case. Now you might be thinking why me, a US citizen of the United States of America, would get one of these passports if the US passport is one of the best in the world. Well, US citizens are taxed on citizenship. No matter where I live, I have my company in Dubai, I travel all over the world, I'm in Serbia right now, I still need to pay and report taxes to the United States. Obviously, if I want to stay legally, a lot of people decide to do it illegally and just not report, not pay, but I like to do things by the book, by the law. I need to report and pay my taxes to the United States regardless of where I live. Now, like I talked about in the last video, I moved my company from the US to Dubai, and I incorporated myself and my company in Dubai, effectively lowering my tax rate from 40-something% in the US to 0% in Dubai. So I basically pay 0% taxes legally and by the law. So why would I get a second passport? Many reasons. Even though I can pay 0% on my business income, if I were to, for example, buy Bitcoin or buy a property, anything that is a type of property, I have some Bitcoin, I have some crypto, I have some properties, and if I were to sell those properties for a profit, that would be a capital gain or a capital gains tax. And that one you cannot get out of. Even if you have your company in Dubai, even if you have the perfect structure, you will always need to pay to the United States your capital gains taxes. You need to report your capital gains taxes. You need to report all of your bank accounts. Basically tell the US everything that you do all over the world, no matter where you go. You always need to tell the United States all the time, as long as you're a citizen. So a lot of US citizens are coming to this market of citizenship by investment, basically buying a passport, like from St. Kitts and Nevis, to renounce their US passport. If you're a US citizen and you have maybe some grandparents from Poland, from Spain, countries that allow citizenship by descent, and you can get citizenship from your parents or your grandparents, basically every country in the world will allow you to get your citizenship from your parents, then you can get a second citizenship that way. Or a second citizenship from your wife, from your husband, whatever it is, then that would be a lot easier. You can just get that citizenship, takes you a couple of years, and then renounce your US citizenship. In my case, even though I have a wife from Ukraine, Ukraine actually has mandatory military service. So if I were to get a Ukrainian passport, I would be liable for, basically, they would call me to war in Ukraine, and I would need to go to war in Ukraine. So that's not something that I do want to do. The only option that I have, since my two parents are US citizens, is to actually buy a passport. And the best country that I found was St. Kitts and Nevis. That was the best country that I found to have a program. There's other countries like St. Lucia, like Grenada, like Dominica. There's many other small little country islands that offer that citizenship by investment. There's also much more higher level citizenship by investment or buying a passport programs, like Malta has a program, even though it's gotten a lot more difficult now. If you put in about $1 million, $1.5 million, you can get the Maltese passport, which is extremely good, and you can go pretty much all over the world with it. Cyprus had a program, you can get the Cypriot passport, and obviously the European passport as part of the European Union for about $2 million. That they took it away because the EU put them too many restrictions. And there's other passports like Montenegro, that's $500,000, that's ending in 2022. And North Macedonia also has a program for, I think, $200,000 that's starting in 2022. But because of pressure from the EU about all these passports, they don't like the system of gaming and trying to buy yourself into the EU, they're probably going to cancel those. So the best ones, if you're a US citizen and you have some money and you want to save yourself some tax and you want to stop all these reportings, all these papers that you have to fill, all these documents, and maybe you're selling crypto, maybe you're selling a property and you're incurring capital gains tax and you want to get that out of the way, you can renounce your US citizenship, go to a US embassy and basically renounce your citizenship. I know this is one of the citizenships that people would really kill for, almost. I've heard some people say, I would do anything to have a US passport. I would do anything to have a US citizenship, but you mainly hear that from people that want to make money. You generally hear that from people that want to live in the US because the US is the land of opportunity. They're going to make money in the US. But people that have already made money outside of the US, like me, and they're thinking, why do I need the US? Why do I need to always pay tax? Why do I need to always report tax if I'm living outside of the US? Getting a citizenship by investment, buying a passport, and then removing yourself from that kind of surveillance system that they have, following you all over the world, wanting to know where you are, where your companies are, where your bank accounts are. To me, it's just, I think it's next level. No other country has this. Maybe other countries will start imposing it, like Canada has already talked about it. Australia has also talked about it. Spain a lot. So if you're from one of those countries, maybe look into your family tree, maybe see if you can get a second passport. If you do have the money to do it, maybe get a citizenship by investment. I highly recommend you look into it, and I can definitely help you with that if you want to navigate yourself through those programs and so on. You can book a call with me with the link in the description below. We can talk about all of this. I'm very passionate about these subjects, about lowering tax, about getting citizenship by investment, and all of this. So there's many countries in the world that are willing to sell you their citizenship in exchange of a donation or investment. In the case of me, I donated $150,000 and the process has taken so far 4 months. In the next 2 to 3 months, I will get my St. Kitts passport and then I will be able to renounce my US citizenship, which will be a very happy day because I don't need to report to the US, I don't need to pay any tax, and I can basically do whatever I want and travel all over the world without having to always call home and say, hey, I got this bank account here, I got this thing here. I can just do whatever I desire without responding to the US. All right, I hope you enjoyed my breakdown on why and how I bought a passport for that sum of money. If you want help on that or reducing your taxes, citizenship, extra citizenship, and all the processes that it takes to get a second passport specifically for US citizens that want to renounce their citizenship, go ahead and click that link in the description, book a free one-on-one call with me. I'm very happy to talk about all of this stuff. Watch another video here from the channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell and that like button, and I will see you on the next video.